Good morning, everybody. This is Jason Jeffries for the Alliance Project. I got a cool show for you today. We're going to do part 2 of the Nibiru background, kind of the scientific paper background. I've been reaching out to a few people to help me collect these papers. I've had a few cooperate. One of my friends, I call Slightly Slanted, he went ahead and purchased one for us, and Rex is going to, and I also have another friend that might possibly donate to give us the third one that would connect it together a little bit better. Currently looking over the copyrights because I can't find this information anywhere. You got to pay $40, and for some reason it's kind of copyright protected. So I want to figure out the best way and method to actually show you guys the documents, but keep the documents being shared. I don't want this to be all for nothing. $40 is a lot to me, just as it is a lot to anybody else. So, yeah, we'll go into that. But last April, I told everybody that if this thing has any grip in reality, that as Passover would come, as the holy holidays, these holidays about Passover, sounding of the tabernacle or the Feast of Tabernacles, whatever it is. It's a whole thing of the blasting of the trumpet, the Day of Atonement, things like that. They all lined up kind of with this orbit, if you will. And I said that we'd be seeing a lot of meteors, and we'd be seeing a lot of just like space activity, space weather, chemtrails. Yesterday, I counted six chemtrail planes, all within one, I don't know, I guess you could say 45-degree angle of the side, or its line of vision, about 45 degrees of vision. I could see 6 of them, 3 going this way, 2 going across, and then one was, I guess the 3 were going across, but 2 were coming this way, 2 were going, one was going the opposite, and then 3 were coming up across it. There's kind of always one that lags behind and 2 that stay in pairs, and I'm guessing the ones that lag behind are the catalyst. But whatever they did, they sprayed basically the little blue clear spot in the sky. It was no longer the little blue clear spot in the sky. It was really hazy. So I have a couple videos to show you to kind of correlate this stuff. So I'm going to go ahead. This was last night. I'll go ahead and do it a little bit bigger. Okay, so there's that one. This one really what caught my eye. This is amazing tape. ABC's even hosting videos about this one this morning. So what we're gonna do is just, I guess, go ahead and play it.
Did you guys see that?
No.
Did you guys see that?
No, we didn't.
Did you guys see that? Went from. Did you guys see that? Went from. Went from. Went from. Went from. Went from. Went from.
All right. So we go ahead and I don't know. We can probably just look at couple things. This will be Good Friday. Passover should be within the next week, right? Oh, so it began last night. So I don't know about you guys, but how am I predicting a year ahead of time what night you guys will see meteors? To me, it's just the signs are all pointing to one thing. And Passover, essentially, like I said, Passover probably was literally talking about this thing passing over, the crossing. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but the Passover, the blasting of the trumpets. Like, I got something curious to show you guys here for a second.
Since the dawn of time, the armies of heaven and hell have waged an endless war. Drawn to the conflict was the Charred Council, an entity bound by ancient laws to preserve order and balance. It held that any great power, unchecked, threatened the very fabric of the universe. In time, heaven and hell came to honor the council and its laws, for none were beyond the swift and terrible justice of the council's enforcers, a fearsome brotherhood known as the Four Horsemen. Amid the turmoil, the first humans emerged. The council foretold that these weak but cunning creatures would someday be integral to the balance. Thus, a third kingdom was named, the Kingdom of Man. By order of the council, a truce was forged between heaven and hell. The great pact was bound by 7 seals, to be broken at the appointed time, when man's kingdom stood ready for the end war, a battle that would bring balance and determine the ultimate fate of the 3 kingdoms.
Boulevard on-ramp, like a blocking accident and roll 3 Scientists continue to predict the nature of disturbances versus Mars.
Okay, so the four horsemen, that was what they're talking about. The final horseman being war. The black horseman being famine, things like that, pestilence. But throughout this game, you start at the beginning in an angel called Abaddon, which is Apollyon, which is, I guess if you went through the narrative, you'd probably find that it ties to Ares. And a few other people, I guess you could say. Mars, Altor, the Avenger, the God of War. There's a lot of names for it. I guess Ninurta would be the Sumerian name for it. But anyways, point being, the main antagonist of this game is called the Destroyer. And the horsemen kind of protect the balance, if you will. They're there to keep the powers in check, the powers of heaven and hell, to keep them in balance. And once the seventh seal was broken, the four horsemen were summoned to come lay judgment to anybody on Earth. Anybody that's left on Earth at that point. Meaning angels, demons, people alike. So judgment could be passed, and new people, a new era, a new age, a new world of man could start. It was really subliminal, especially if you look there and see just the meteors coming in, period. And if you go back to my earlier videos, you could see that I said that if this thing holds true to my research and everything I've been saying, that Passover, we'd start seeing meteors and we'd see signs. Yesterday was the most chemtrails I've ever seen in a long time, without a doubt. And I just showed you two videos, two separate videos of fireballs over the city of fallen angels. So we'll get back into that in a moment. So this is where we left off in part one. We left off talking about Richard Hoagland, Apis, the moon of Saturn, these artificial bodies, Sumerian tablets, and how we found out a place, artifacts. These are, it says here 3 billion years old. I can't validate that. I know that there was some that was like 300 million years old. Something, it was off the wall number. Completely outdates and is out of place, but some of them have 3 equatorial lines, like 1 for the equator and 2 for the tropics. Things like this, but they're very straightforward here. So that's where we left off. So we're just going to try to pick up where we left off there and keep on going with that motif. Also, a lot, in that game I was talking to you about, the Darksiders game, one of your first missions is to go find this woman named Tiamat, this enchantress, and take out her heart and bring it back to this demon called Samael, which they're all going against the Destroyer. Basically, everybody's ganging up against the Destroyer. And the idea of it was the last seal wasn't actually broken. The seals were hidden, and they weren't broken. Basically, the timeline was changed. The Destroyer still came, but the seals weren't broken. So it's a pretty deep story, but if you guys want to look into it, just look into Darksiders, the storyline, and I'm sure you could get a pretty good summary of it. Okay, so these were found in a layer of soil. This is in the Forbidden Archaeology book. And I had to recheck the number there for you. It's 2.8 billion years ago. Billion with a B. They're found in a layer of soil that's 2.8 billion years old. So I really recommend everybody and anybody reading this book, Forbidden Archaeology. At the end, I'm going to go ahead and share a list of books and information, documentaries, things like that you could go back and dig deeper into this information, get other people's takes, and just kind of review my sources and things like that if you'd like. So basically, we find documents in the caves in Samaria, modern-day Iraq, and we find that they talk about cosmic war between these bodies, planetary bodies, in different factions, different places. We come to find out that the moons, Saturn, everywhere they said was involved with this, that we're finding structures there. Just as people, I showed that video on CERN on their homepage talking about a particle collider found on Mars, and nobody wants to believe it. Oh, it's April Fool's Day. Well, we know that they've been telling us things ahead of time, that they have to, and that's how they choreograph everything they do. And we pick up on it. We find it in the movies. We find it everywhere. We find it in everything. Okay? That's the way these secret cabal, they work. They completely work by controlling humanity, but by letting us know it's a gentleman's game. It's a way to say you can't say we didn't warn you or tell you. It's a way to keep it fair and balanced in the sense that free will, choice, it's kind of, we're subverted by these choices, by these systems, and we willingly participate. Whether it's by going to work every day, whatever it is. You know what's going on. You know that there's animals in the back of the truck that you're driving behind on your way to work, and you see them sticking their little heads out just to get the last breath of fresh air. And their life means more to them alive than it ever does to you as a cheeseburger, but they're on their way to their slaughter, and after that we'll probably throw half of it away. All of us will continue to eat McDonald's, and we won't change. A lot of people talk about, fear and hope. They're great qualities to have. You can use them essentially in turn with each other, fear or hope. You know, you can fear the worst, hope for the best. Fear that today's going to be a bad day, or hope it's going to be a good one. But the point is hope doesn't change things. It does help, but hope isn't the thing that's going to actually take action, you know? You have to act, you have to participate, and you have to be willing to change your lifestyle. And it means no more Happy Meals for the rest of your life, then no more Happy Meals, dude. But if we all could just come together simply like that, we could bring down these corporations, these entities, and at least, you know, pull their profit, their culling, and their need to ransack our Earth. And if you look at it from just a strictly a galactic sense, they're not destroying the only planet we're on, if in the sense that there's billions and billions and billions and billions of planets. It's kind of like we look at countries. Oh, that's kind of, we're not seeing what's going on in Syria. We're not seeing what's going on in some of these third world countries. So we don't care because we're not there. We're not the children getting bombed in the hospitals. We're not the ones, you know, having to work for 5 cents a day for, you know, natural, like blood diamonds. Okay, every diamond that comes out of like the De Beers mines, every one of them, I forget, it's up where like $3,000 a carat, something like that. I can't remember. It's ridiculous. The money is expensive. They basically corner this whole diamond mine. They own all of it, so they can buy out the competitors. Say if I was going to go, I found a diamond mine, I'm going to sell it, sell some diamonds. I could help fluctuate the price, bring it down to an attainable cost. But instead, they buy out those competitions so they can keep this steady stock game, because it's a monopoly. Because as long as it's supply and demand, as long as demand doesn't ever get too low, essentially. And there's no way for demand to get low if there's only like one supplier, essentially. So what they do is, I just told you about $3,000 a carat. A carat is, I believe, 1/10 of a gram. It's either 1/10 or 1/4. I believe it's 1/10. But here, I'll look it up for you real quick. So carat is 0.2 grams of a stone or any kind of gemstone. It is 1/5 of a gram. 5 carats to make a gram. Okay. For instance, a gram of weed is about $20. You know. So a gram of gold is worth a lot more. Okay. But they have things like milk. You know, and a gallon of milk is, you know, average $2, $3 to $4 some places. You consider that. Ads popping up. When you consider that, oh no, we don't want that. When you consider that, in a sense that gallon of gasoline is like $3 to $4, milk's like $2. I mean, you could probably actually put them hand in hand. Some towns, your milk will cost more than your gasoline, and some towns your gasoline costs more. But the point of that being is milk comes out of cows daily, and it's just a natural effect. And we have a huge beef industry, so dairy cows, beef cows, all these things. Fossil fuels, refined, and, you know, I don't know, let's just say about 27 million years ago, a bunch of dinosaurs, animals, swamp, and plant life was covered up by volcanic ash. We have earthquakes, and the world goes on for 27 million years, and then Then we look at blam. Like, finally gets down into crude oil, and we refine it here at our plants, ship it all around the world, and charge you the same amount as something that a cow ate some grass yesterday and then it needed milked. Okay, these things will get in pain if they're not milked as well, like like the hormones and things like that. There wasn't a baby cow or a machine to help relieve them, they would be in pain. So just to think that 5 carats is a gram, and you could look up and see how much gold and diamonds and things like that cost, to realize that, wow, there's people that charge to like $3,000 a carat for some stones. So that's in a carat, $3,000. Like, wow, for half a carat, there's things like that. So when you consider that 1 carat is that, so to get like feasible, like, so let's do some math. Let's just say that $2,000 for this nice 1 carat pure red diamond, not a blood diamond, but an actual red diamond, one of these rare stones out in the world. This person gets paid $220 a year annually. Okay? They call them blood diamonds because people literally die. Every one that you've wore, you can bet there's a soul tied to it. Somebody died for that. Okay? And if you look at it in that sense, that diamonds only flow up these tubes, these channels. I'll show you here. Get my web notes out. So I'll just say this is the earth, this is the grass. They have these tubes that come up and down the earth, these channels, these volcanic tubes. And as the lava comes up, it's coming to push up. But it literally, you'll get, in a lot of places, you'll get what they just literally flows up tubes of diamonds to the surface. And this flow, because of the density and everything like that, it's just nature how things work. It literally flows dense, because quartz, diamonds, things like that, they float. They float on top of magma. That's how the crust works, essentially. So when we have this pocket, the diamonds actually have like a flow, like a river of diamonds that go to the surface. So diamonds are relatively easy to mine. They just knock off the top of it. They come in and bulldoze or excavate this top part, and then they make a mine down into there to collect the diamonds. And yeah, $220 a year is the average annual income for one of these persons. How many carats, how many diamonds, how many things do you think they get? So to look at it just from that sense, that we were, in the original story, that we were created for as primitive slaves to mine, harvest gold, things like that. And you look back, like the Roman Empire, right? Like Rome was never supposed to, it was like, oh, this was a huge power, right? And they said it would stand until the end of the days of man. And when you consider that at first they believed that the emperor himself was kind of like Christ or divine, God sent. when people like Jesus or ascended masters, basically anybody that was going through this ascension process, saying they were the Son of Man, or saying things that seemed heretical to them, it was because they believed that the emperor himself was, the second coming, or the coming of Christ, or however you want to put it, the Holy Emperor. And I mean, they had a legionnaire go right up and stab Christ on the cross while he's there. They sent him to be executed. They essentially let the people execute him, but they lashed him. I mean, you guys all seen a 2-hour-long movie of where they beat the shit out of Jesus, essentially, and historically, things like that was correct. But these people, what I call ascended masters, they were reaching higher levels of consciousness to the point where they were performing what we'd call miracles. And the things they were teaching, the parables they were saying, the wisdom that they taught was in the way. It got in the way of people really fully understanding. You never understand these parables until they come full circle, and then you kind of experience it for yourself. But they help you to see what you're looking for if you have what's called faith. Faith just means to believe or accept something without evidence to back it up. And I believe there's plenty of evidences out there to back up things that are in the Bible, things that are in pretty much every holy text. There's a reason that those texts are holy. You just have to look at it with new eyes. I didn't want to get off subject, but if you think of that strictly as our planet is just like another country, they probably don't care too much about our planet, because there's many planets out there. Many planets they can strip their resources from, deplete it, and fucking move on, right? Suck it dry and just go. They don't care. And I believe that's what we're looking at. That's why we see these terraforming, we see these terrible things happening to people. We see non-stop, relentless years of like Holocaust turning and fucking grinding towards just an end time or destruction, because we have no sustainable way to carry on, and it's all about profit. Instead of making sustainability profitable, we are doing just the opposite, and we're keeping military industrial complex alive and well until the point when we're going to instill computers to do the decision making for us, and it's going to completely just end us all. Okay, so essentially we found helmets on Mars, sphinxes on Mars, civilizations on Mars, the moons, structures on all these planets. Iapetus actually has 3 ridges. What most people don't see is there's 3 ridges. There's one main ridge here, about 5 kilometers high, I believe, and then the other 2. It looks like it was seamed together, almost like it was riveted together. It's a reverse of the trench here. And when you look at it with certain, what would you call it, I guess, telescopes, certain viewing equipment, you can see that the lines and edges are flat, man-made, not man-made, but created. These flat lines don't come like that in nature. They just don't. The only sense they do is, I guess, with like crystalline structures, things like that. But we know that this isn't a giant, huge crystal, because it wouldn't make any sense. They're kind of made at the heart of stars, if you will. Furnaces, these crystals. It's kind of like the Lucifer experiment that I was telling you guys about. Separating consciousness from source. But David Icke says this is some kind of satellite or amplification of the matrix, Saturn itself. If you go to the top, you can kind of do You do sacred geometry on the North Pole of Saturn, and it's pretty neat, to say the least. So, the two great Indian epics of India, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, are centered on conflicts and refer to military formations, theories of warfare, and esoteric weaponry. Among the principal works and stories of the story of the Dhammayanta, or abbreviated version of the Ramayana. With 100,000 verses, the long prose passage, or 1.8 million words in total, is roughly 10 times the length of the Iliad, Odyssey combined. Iliad and Odyssey combined are about 4 times the length of the Ramayana. It's a lot bigger. It's a huge work. It's bigger than, Shakespeare, Greek works, everything like that. All right, so it says the Indian epics, especially the Mahabharata, pick up the thread of the tale of devastation and destruction. Atlantis, rather displeased at its humiliating defeat, perceived that they were no longer interested in subjugating the Rama Empire, an Indian empire, and decided instead to annihilate the major cities using weapons of mass destruction. Sanskrit scholars could not comprehend what was being described in the epics until the dropping of the first atomic bombs in Japan. These are authentic verses. Gurkha, flying a swift, powerful Vimana, fast aircraft, hurled a single projectile, a rocket, charged with the power of the universe, a nuclear device. An incandescent column of smoke and flame as bright as 10,000 suns rose in all its splendor. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, a gigantic messenger of death, which reduced to ashes the entire race of the Vrishnis and the Endhakas. Corpses were so burned as to be unrecognizable. Hair and nails fell out. Artery broke without apparent cause, and the birds turned white. After a few hours, all foodstuffs were infected. To escape from this fire, the soldiers threw themselves in streams to wash themselves and their equipment. It was a weapon so powerful it could destroy the earth in an instant. A great soaring sound and smoke and flames, and on its death. Dense arrows of flames, like a great shower, issued forth upon creation, encompassing the enemy. A thick gloom swiftly settled upon the Pandava hosts. All points of the compass were lost in the darkness. Fierce wind began to blow upward, showering dust and gravel. Birds croaked madly. The very elements seemed disturbed. The earth shook, scorched by the terrible violent heat of this weapon. Elephants burst into flames, ran to and fro in a frenzy. Over a vast area, other animals crumpled to the ground and died. From all points of the compass, the arrow of flame rained continuously and fiercely. Place a well-cleaned copper plate in the earthenware vessel. Cover it first by copper sulfate and then by moist sawdust. After that, put mercury amalgamated zinc sheet on top of an energy known by the twin name of Mitra Varuna. Water will be split by this current into Pravanvaya and Undeniable. A chain of 100 jars is said to give a very active and effective force. The Mitra Varuna is now called cathode anode, and Aduna is oxygen and hydrogen. This document demonstrates the presence of electricity in the East long, long ago, and is not so distant from basically just showing you how they had scientific information that's way beyond them. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, a gigantic messenger of death, which to reduce to ashes the entire race. And the next day came, Samba actually brought forth an iron bolt, which with all the individuals in the race of the Vrishnas and the Endhakas became consumed into ashes. Indeed, for the destruction of the Vrishnas and the Endhakas, Samba brought forth, through that curse, a fierce iron bolt that looked like a gigantic messenger of death. The fact was duly reported to the king. In distress of mind, the king caused that iron bolt to be reduced to a fine powder. Men were employed to cast the powder into the sea. The streets swarmed with rats and mice. Earthen pots showed in cracks or broke from no apparent cause. At night, the rats and mice ate away their hair and nails of slumbering men. Fires, when ignited, cast their flames towards the left. Sometimes they threw out flames whose splendor was blue and red. The sun, whether when rising or setting over the city, seemed to be surrounded by a headless trunk of human form. In cookrooms, upon food that was clean and well boiled were seen. It was served out for eating, innumerable worms of diverse kinds. So they're showing you how food things and everything gets infected with radiation. Highest Kakra, but never used before. Sadul Sana. This was a secretive, complicated weapon owned by Lord Krishna himself. Energy from the weapon would be able to destroy dozens of planets. Second Sakura, Brahmasatara, was a gift from Diva Api and has 7 levels. The first, okay, so the 5th is used by Arjuna's cousin during the Kuruthisa. The 6th is equivalent to the destruction of Hiroshima. 7th is widely used in self-protection and medicines around the world. It's I guess different levels of reaction. Karistabong is flying weapon, black magic weapon, fireball. Chakra mantras. Keywords of the mantras would be uttered, the earth composition would be changed, and the heat of the massive rays would be released into the air. At a sudden cloud of rays and heat concentrate to form a thick layer on top of the earth. These layers of heat and rays will cascade down on the earth, resulting in massive destruction. The end would be worse than a nuclear explosion, as the process dissolved of huge compactness of the wind and the air combined during this process. During the prevention of the heat rays from reaching the earth, they would utter mantras. The layers would be stopped mid-air and vanish before touching the earth's surface. These layers would disappear from there. Okay, so the Hindu word Om was, they were talking about the sound of the universe, essentially the vibration, the energy that goes through us all. Om, what they mean was the humming, the vibration. They knew everything was in movement. They literally called this vibration Om. Okay, so different things, different frequencies, different vibrations. They were all talking about scientific things, okay? They said a weapon exists, or a weapon was created that could destroy or slay anything within the 3 worlds. And as I started at the beginning, you learned about the 3 worlds. The world of man, the world of heaven, the world of hell. And I told, I know I've came in to give people my interpretation of we call dimensional planes being brought to existence in concepts, parables, and taught through books. Think of it as frequency, color, light, vibration. As you raise your frequency from this middle earth, this physical plane, you can go to heaven, the gate of heaven. The idea that it had a mansion with many rooms, right? It was the idea that going to a higher frequency through love in your heart, things like that, being a pure person, will bring you to a higher state of being, more resonance, and to the next step of evolution. But if you or on the opposite side and did hateful things and were constantly doing this, that, and the other, your frequency actually attains lower, and at the moment of death, you don't incarnate back to this plane. You go to a lower plane because you are now vibrating and synchronizing with the frequency. Your radio station is picking up on a lower radio station. So as the soul goes through this matrix process of reincarnation, it goes to a lower density, lower, heavier, sadder form. I mean, to get distinctly into it, that's when they were like, when God and Jesus said that you had to be like a child to get into heaven. They meant that literally, like in a mind state. You had to be, to have a good imagination, had to be able to believe, trust, love, be pure. He meant it literally. There's a lot of parables in there that they just don't do a good job with, I believe. So here we're going to go in. We're going to go ahead and share this. It's Norse mythology, Ragnarok. It's a prophecy that most people overlook when it comes to this destroyer. So go ahead and read it and reiterate it to you. Ragnarok is a series of cataclysmic events that will ultimately result in the end of the present world and includes a great final battle. Most of what the fate of heroic deaths and the field of Hebrew heralds the rebirth of this world. Rebirth, remember that. Odin, what tidings are before the fate of the gods? Never before have I heard anyone talk of this. And Odin said, the first sign of Ragnarok will be the awful winter, or Fimbulvitr, which time 3 winters will arrive without a summer between them. Sons shall have no virtue then. Conflicts and feuds will interrupt in all places. There will be no peace. All morality will disappear. This is the beginning of the end. When this is past, the armies of the world will come against the gods. The wolf will fall, the power of the sun. And his brother Hades will seize the moon. The stars will vanish from the heavens, and the earth will plunge into darkness. So, in this sense, the dragon, the destroyer, is wolf. Wolf with fangs. And when you see it, it still looks like a dragon to me. Okay. But, and his brother, Hades, sees the moon. I'm guessing they're talking about a companion to this body, this planetary body. This is the wolves pursuing the sun and the moon. So they're literally talking about celestial bodies, these dragons, these wolves, coming and devouring the sun from our perception. While the crags fall to ruin and the earth's tectonic plates are broken and rent. Because of these seismic events, Fenrir Wolf is freed. The dragon. His lower jaw against the ground and his upper against the heaven. Fire blazes from his eyes and nostrils. He gushes forth onto the land. Jormungandr and the Midgard serpent stirs and advances upon the earth. He takes place on the side of the wolf. Every breath the serpent cleans oil in the sky with his poison. Is that the red iron oxide? Is that the poison? Is that the poison clouds? Shipped in entirely from the fingers and toenails of dead men will come from the east and float upon the sea flood. The giant Hymir steers her. The army of Jotun is within her. So it says, a ship. Doesn't mean a floating ship. Could be a spaceship, right? But it's made from apparently genetic material of people. So maybe it's like a biomechanical ship, a living ship. And it said that on this ship will be giants. On her and within her, an army of giants. Fire giants led by Surtur will leave Muspel, the realm of fire, in the south to join against the gods. With him he carries a sword which shines brighter than the sun itself. Before and after him burns fire. A sword could be used as a weapon, just an interpretation of a weapon. So you had a weapon that brought forth a lot of energy and fire. They ride over Bifrost, a rainbow bridge which links Midgard and Asgard. It shall break apart as foretold. So this is like a dimensional gap, a dimensional bridge to what we call heaven, the higher dimension. They weren't talking about a flat earth, they were talking about dimensions. The realm of the dead, a second ship sits Hell and the giants, with Loki at their head. Now Loki, I believe, is kinky. Thor, his brother, Yahweh, Enlil. These things had very deep roots in every culture. I mean, the Romans, the Greeks, even the Vikings themselves. All shall be very bright as they go forth. Guardian of the Aesir and Bifrost. Blow mightily on the Galahorn to summon the gods to the heroes of the battlefield. So that's when you hear the I guess the last seal, the final trumpet. Who knows? This could be the magnetic grinding and vibration that people hear all over the world when it sounds like a trumpet going off, and it's been going like that for a couple of years now. Odin shall then ride to Mimir's well to converse with the head. He takes his counsel for himself and his host. The ash of Yagdar's soul shall tremble, and nothing shall be without fear, whether in heaven or in earth. We're talking about dimensions, like I said. Don their armor, and also does every hero of Valhalla. Odin then rides first to Vigrir with his helmet of gold and his spear named Gungnir, ready to do. The dragon, and Thor stands beside, Enlil stands with him by his side, but cannot be of help. And he will have his hands full against the fight against the Midgard serpent. Midgard serpent's probably what they refer to as the Antichrist. It's talking about an earthly serpent that stands with the dragon and the wolf. Freyr, an agriculture and phallic fertility god, contends with the Jotun Surtur. There will be a hard encounter between them before. Armor is to be set loose from the Nipa's cave, and he will do battle with the god of single combat before both will merge as the other's slayer. Enlil will put to death the Midgard serpent, then striding away 9 places from that spot, he falls dead on the earth because of the venom which the snake blew at him. Wolf shall swallow Odin. That shall be his ending. Yet straight thereafter, son of Odin will avenge him, setting one foot upon Fenrir's lower jaw and his other hand seizing the upper jaw. Alright, so here's the wolf. They call it. It looks like a dragon to me. And here's him standing on the jaw and opening it up. He will tear his gullet asunder. That will be the death of the wolf. Like you will have battle with each other being the slayer. The 9 worlds of the world tree will burn. So the 9 dimensions, I guess. The 9 above us, anyways. As the Cycle Masters put it, 1 through 12, but we're in the 3rd, so I guess the ones below us don't really pertain too much to this reality or existence. The gods and their champions will perish, and the friends and foe alike will be consumed by the flames. The earth will be swallowed by the sea. And so asked King Gilfi, what shall come to pass afterwards, when all the world is burned and dead are all the gods and the companions of mankind? Have you not said before that every man shall live in some world throughout all ages? In these times there will be many good abodes in which to live, but also many bad as well. Yet then it shall be as best to live in Gamal, in the heavens. Or a place exists called Oakenir, the house of a hall called Brimir. Here one can find an abundance of good drink, and one that finds this pleasure. A good hall to be found is Nida Fells, made of red gold. Its name is Sindri, and these halls shall dwell good men of pure heart. On Nandstrand is a great hall, and evil. Its door faces the north, and it is woven of serpent backs like a wattle house. Snakeheads turn into the house and blow venom. So that the hall runs rivers of poison, and they who have broken their oaths and murderers are to wade through those rivers. But worst is the Helvengar, the wellspring in the cold of the Niflheim. There the cursed snake tears apart dead men's corpses. Then spoke King Gilfrey, shall any of the gods live then, or shall there be any on earth and heaven? The earth will be emerged once more from the sea, beautiful and green, and crops are brought forth unsown. The field Adelvar exists where Asgard once was, and there, untouched by Sutter's flame, Vidar and Vali, the sons of Odin, reside. Now possessing their father's hammer, Mjolnir, for his son Modi and Magna will meet them there, and coming from hell, Balder and Hodor shall also arrive. Thus reunited they shall sit all together and recount the memories of Midgard serpent and the Fenrir wolf, and all the while they call to their mind their secret wisdom. Then they will find in the grass those golden chess pieces the gods had once owned. Also two of mankind, Lif and Lif Prasir, who also survived the destruction by hiding in the wood of Hodemus Holt. So some kind of new Adam and Eve pantheon. From these folks shall come so many numerous and offspring that all the world shall be people. The elfin beam shall bear a daughter. Here Fenrir drags her forth, that maid shall go, when the great gods die, to ride her mother's road. So this is how the present world ends, and how new begins, according to the poetic and prosetta. So to kind of bring this back to clear up some stuff about who or what these races possibly have been, and how it ties into these New Age conspiracies and things. I go back to the Emerald Tablets. There's always new information or old information in there that we overlook, and it's nice to go back to. It said, light there was in ancient Atlantis, yet darkness too was hidden in all. Fell from the light into the darkness some who had risen to the heights among men, meaning people in positions of power. Proud they became because of their knowledge. Proud they were of their place among men. Deep delved into they to the forbidden, opened a gateway that led to the below. Sought they to gain ever more knowledge, but seeking to bring it up from below. He who descends below must have balance, or else he is bound by lack of our light. Opened then they, by their knowledge, pathways forbidden to man. But in his temple, all-seeing the dweller, laden in his guante, while through Atlantis his soul roamed free, saw he the Atlanteans by their magic opening the gateway that would bring the earth a great woe. Fled fast he, his soul, back then to his body. Arose he from his guante, and he called the three mighty messengers, and he gave the commands. Deep beneath the earth's crust, to the halls of Mende, swiftly descended the dweller, and he called upon the power the seven lords wielded, and changed the earth's balance. Down sank Atlantis beneath the dark waves, and shattered the gateway that had been covered, shattered the doorway that led down below. All of the islands were shattered except Unal, part of the island of the son of the dwellers. Preserved him to he that be the teachers. Take all your records, take all your magic, go forth as a teacher of men, go forth, reserving the record until the light grows among men. Light shall thou be throughout all the ages, hidden yet found enlightened in men. Over all earth we give you power, free thou to take or give it away. Gather now sons of Atlantis, take them and flee to the people of the rock caves. Fly to the land of the children of Chem. Then I gathered the sons of Atlantis into the spaceship I brought with all my records. I brought the records of the sunken Atlantis. I gathered all my powers, instruments, and many of mighty magic. Up then we rose on the wings of the morning. High we rose above the temple, leaving behind the three of them dweller deep in the halls beneath the temple, closing the pathway to the lords of the Cycler. Yet ever to him who is knowing, open shall be the path to Amente. Fast fled we then on the wings of the morning, fled to the land of the children of Chem. There by my power I conquered and ruled them. So what they're saying is, got in a spaceship and he packed up his stuff wherever this Halls of Amente entrance was. I'm thinking maybe Antarctica, somewhere like that, because this is right as the last pole shift happened. I'm guessing this is about 13,000 years ago exactly. And he's talking about going to Egypt to find Egypt, essentially, or to go back to Egypt to help raise the consciousness of man. But they tell you, yet to ever who was knowing, open shall be the path to Amente. So they sealed it, but whatever they mean is you can get there by astral travel. So he was talking about probably astral projection or some kind of out-of-body experience. You probably reach it by meditation. Raised I to the light, the children of Chem. Deep beneath the rocks, I buried my spaceship, waiting for the time that man might be free. Over the spaceship erected a marker in the form of a lion, yet like a man. There neath the images rests my spaceship, for it to be brought when the need shall arise. Know ye, O man, that far in the future invaders shall come from deep out of space. Then awake, ye who have wisdom, bring forth my ship and conquer with ease. Deep beneath the image lies my secret. Search and find in the pyramid I built. Each to the other is a keystone. Each is the gateway that leads into the life. Follow the key that I leave behind me. Seek in the doorway of life shall be thine. Seek thou in the pyramid, deeper in the passage that ends in a wall. Use the key of the seven and open the pathway will fall. Now unto thee I've given my wisdom. Okay, so they're talking about there's an entrance in the king's or queen's chamber, that wall that we've done scans on to see that there actually indeed is a scan there, because they do very, very high level photography to get these scans to recreate these things, almost not on an atomic level, but literally like on a level of a scratch. And what they do, when they found out that there was breaks in the stones, and then they went in with infrared and they could see the depth of the stone. They seen that there most definitely was a passage there. If you look into Edward Casey, he predicted finding this. And then when MGM Studios went in there, I believe, they had a lot of people that came to this wall. And apparently, the story goes, is that they had some intuitives or empaths. 3 people come in and meditate upon this wall, and they opened this doorway, this passage, and found what they're talking about here. But this is on speculation. It's never been publicly released by the government, of course. Hark ye, O man, to the wisdom of magic. Hark ye, the knowledge of the powers forgotten. Long ago, in the days of first man, warfare began between darkness and light. Men then as now were filled with both darkness and light, and while in some darkness held sway, in others light filled the soul. Yea, the old age in this warfare, the eternal struggle between darkness and light, fiercely it is fought through all the ages, using strange powers hidden in man. Adepts have been filled with their blackness, struggling against the light, and others who filled with brightness, who have ever conquered the darkness of night. Wherever ye may be in the ages and plains, surely you know of the battle with night. Long ages ago, the sons of the morning descending found the world filled with night. There in the past began the struggle, the age-old battle of darkness and light. Many in the time were so filled with darkness that only feebly the flame of the light from the night, their souls. Some were they, masters of darkness, who sought to fill all with their darkness, sought to draw others into the night. Fiercely withstood they, the masters of brightness, fiercely fought they, the darkness of night, sought ever to tighten the feathers, the chains that bind men into the darkness of night. Use they always their dark magic, brought unto men by the power of darkness, magic enshrouded by man's soul with darkness. Banded together as an inner order, brothers of darkness, and through the ages the antagonists of the children of men. Walk they, secret and hidden, found yet not unfound by the children of men. Forever they walked and worked in the darkness, hiding in the light and the darkness of night. Silently and secretly used they their power, enslaving and binding the soul of the men. Unseen they come and unseen they go. Man, ignorance calls them from below. Dark is the way of the dark brothers travel. Dark is the darkness not of the night. So meaning something else. Traveling over earth, they walk through man's dreams. Power they have gained from the darkness around them. To call others dwellers from out of their plane, and the ways that are dark and unseen by man into man's mind space reach the dark brothers. So they're saying they hide in darkness in the electromagnetic spectrum, another dimensional frequency just outside of this quantum state that we interact with or can see with our eyeballs. Around it, they close the veil of their night. And through its lifetime, that soul dwells in bondage, bound by the fetters of the veil of the night. Mighty are they in forbidden knowledge, forbidden because it is one with the night. Hark ye, O man, list to my warning. Be ye free from the bondage of night. Surrender not your soul to the brothers of darkness. Keep thy face ever turned towards the light. Know ye not, man, O man, that your sorrow only comes from the veil of the night. Amen. Aye, man. I like saying amen. It's funny. Heed ye my warning. Strive ever upward. Turn your soul toward the light. The brothers of darkness seek for their brothers, those who travel the pathway of light. For well known that those who have traveled far towards the sons in their pathway of light, have great and yet greater power to bind with darkness the children of light. List ye, O man, to who comes to you. But weigh and balance the words be of light. For many of those who walk in the dark brightness are yet not the children of light. Easy it is to follow their pathway, easy to follow their path that they lead. But yet, O man, heed my warning. Light comes only from those who strive. Hard is the pathway who leads to wisdom. Hard is the pathway who leads to the light. Many shall you find the stones in your pathway, many of the mountains that climb towards the light. Yet know ye, O man, to overcometh free will ye be of the pathway of light. For ye know, O man, in the end light must conquer in darkness, and night must be banished from light. Listen, O man, heed ye the wisdom, even as darkness so is the light. When darkness is banished and the veils are rended, out shall flash from the darkness the light. Even existing among the dark brothers, so there exists the brothers of light, antagonists of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free the men from the night. Powers they have, mighty and potent, knowing the law and the planets obey. Work they ever in harmony and order, freeing the man from the bondage of night. Secret and hidden walk they also. Known not are they to the children of men. Ever have they fought the dark brothers, conquered and conquering time without end. Yet always light shall be in the end master, driving away the darkness from night. Amen. Know this, knowing. Always beside thee walk the children of light. Masters they of the sun power, ever unseen yet the guardians of men. Open to all is their pathway, open to he who will walk in the light. Free are they of the dark amente, free of the halls where life reigns supreme. Sons are they and lords of the morning, children of light, and they shine among men. Like men they yet are unlike, never divided were they in the past. One they have been with the oneness eternal throughout all space since the beginning of time. Up did they come with the oneness of all one, up from the first space formed and unformed. So they're pure forms of energetic consciousness from the source of all, and they've never been anything but that. They basically started being a portion of the oneness, right? Of the all, it's a portion of the universal consciousness. So they didn't start down at the bottom like we did. Given to man, they have secrets that shall guard and protect him from all harm. He who would travel the path of the master must be freed from the bondage of the night. Conquer must he the formless and shapeless. Conquer must he the phantom fear, knowing he must gain all the secrets. travel the pathway that leads through the darkness, yet ever before him keep the light on his goal. Obstacles great shall he meet in his pathway, yet press on to the light of the sun. The sun is the symbol of the light that shines at the end of the road. Now thee I give thee the secrets. Now to meet the dark power, meet and conquer the fear of the night. Only by knowing can you conquer, only by knowing ye have the light. Now I give unto the knowledge, now to the masters, knowing that conquers all the dark fears. Use this wisdom I give thee. Master, thou shalt be of the brothers of night. When unto thee comes a feeling, drawing nearer the darker gate, examine thine heart and find if the feeling thou hast has actually come from within. If thou shalt find darkness in thine own thoughts, banish them from the place in thy mind. Send through thy body a wave of vibration, irregular at first and regular second, repeating time after time until free. Start the wave force in thy brain center, direct in it waves from thine head to thy foot. But if thy heart is not darkened, be sure that a force is directed at thee. Only by knowing can thou overcome it. Only by wisdom can thou be set free. Knowledge brings wisdom. Wisdom is power. Attain ye shall ever have power over all. Seek ye the first place bound by darkness. Place ye a circle around about thee. Stand erect in the midst of the circle, using this formula, and ye shall be free. Raise thou thine hands in the dark space above thee. Close thine eyes and draw in the light. Call to the spirit of light through the space-time, using these words, and thou shalt be free. Fill thy body, O spirit of life. Fill thy body, O spirit of light. Come from the flower that shines from the darkness. Come from the halls where the seven lords rule. Name them by name. I, the seven. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In their names I call them to aid me. Free me and save me from the darkness and night. Untanas, Huertas, Chiento, Goyana, Huerto, Sambeta, Ardo. The names I implore thee, free from the darkness and fill me with light. Know ye, O man, that I have done this, and ye shall be done free from the fetters and bond from the cast off the bondage from the butters of night. See ye not the names of the power of free vibration, the fetters that bind, use them to need to free thou brother, so that he too may be free from the night. Thou, O man, art thy brother's helper. Let them not lie in the bondage of night. Man is in a process of changing to forms that are not of this world. Grows he in time with the formless, a plane of the cycle above. Know ye, ye must become formless before ye are one with the light. Wisdom is hidden in darkness. When lit by the flame of the soul, find thou the wisdom is light and be light-born, the son of the light without form. Seek thee ever wisdom, find it in the heart of the flame. Know that only by striving and light pour into thy brain. Now I have spoken with wisdom, listen to my voice and obey. Tear open the veils of the darkness, shine a light on the way. Speak I of ancient Atlantis, speak I of the days of the kingdom of shadows, speak of the coming of the children of shadows. Out of the great deep were they called by the wisdom of earthmen, called for the purpose of gaining greater power. Far in the past, before Atlantis existed, men there were who dwelled into darkness, using dark magic, calling up beings from the great deep below us. Forth they came into this cycle. Formless were they from another vibration, existing unseen by the children of earthmen. Only through blood could they formed have being. Only through man could they have lived in this world. In ages past were they conquered by masters, driven below to this place whence they came. But some were they who remained, hidden in places and plains unknown to men. Lived they in Atlantis the shadows, but at times they appeared among men. Aye, when the blood was offered, where they came to dwell among men. In the form of a man they amongst us, but only to sight were they as men, serpent-headed when the glamour was lifted, but appearing to men as men among men. Crept they into the councils, taking forms that were like unto men, slaying by their arts the chiefs of the kingdoms, taking their form and ruling over man. Only by magic could they be discovered, only by sound could their faces be seen. Sought they from the kingdom of shadows to destroy man and rule in his place. But know ye, the masters were mighty in magic, able to lift the veil from the face of the serpent, and able to send him back to his place. Come they to man and taught him in secret the word that only a man can pronounce. Swift they lifted the veil from the serpent and cast him from the place among men. Yet beware, the serpent still liveth in this place that is open at times to the world. Unseen they walk amongst thee in places where the rites have been said. Again, as time passes onward, shall they take the semblance of man. Called may they by the master who knows white or the black, but only the white master may control or bind them while in flesh. Seek not the kingdom of shadows, for evil will surely appear. For only the master of brightness shall conquer the shadow of fear. Know ye, O my brother, that fear is an obstacle great. Be the master of all in the brightness, the shadow will soon disappear. Hear ye and heed my wisdom, the voice of light is clear. Seek not the valley of shadow, and the light will only appear. And so saying they're existing on another dimensional frequency, that just we can't see them unless there's anywhere there was basically blood sacrifice in ancient history. You could bet the Archons or reptilians, whatever you want to call them, possibly the Igigi, that they're in the tablets. They talk about them. They call them serpent-headed. They say they came from a lower dimension because of basically the Bermuda Triangle was particle accelerator, Merkaba, whatever you want to call it. And they brought up things from a lower dimension. They tore it over. These things had no physical manifestations, so they attached to bodies. Some of them, people could have like a couple hundred per body at that point. So this Brotherhood of Light came and sewed up the dimensional rift, I guess you could say, the best they could, and drove the rest back if they could. Not all of them came through. There's some here, and they can bring others through when they're here. But they need sacrifice, or apparently people need to die so they can take their body or their avatar form, or possibly use the blood to manifest into this dimension in their own form. I imagine they're literally taking a body. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys some cool footage of this, though it kind of tied into it.
They might use it as an entry to exporting chicken to us, which would be,
No, we will be exporting chicken to the Chinese.
Can we buy a Chinese firm?
No, not right now.
Then why should they buy one of ours?
Why not?
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market.
Very, very well.
Yes,
Clarice.
we have capitalism and we embrace it.
Then they don't,
yes,
Clarice.
We have, yes,
Clarice.
we have,
Open up the market.
Very, very well.
yes,
Clarice.
we have capitalism.
they'll live. Sick, I know, but I also know you want to hear what she has to say. The doc says if these people don't get help or straighten up fast, I haven't pre-read any of this. Brittany won't make it to the age 30, Lindsay won't see 25, and Michael Jackson has no more than 5 years left. At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life, and so will George Bush and Nicole Richie.
If you're not already bipolar,
I hear yelling in the booth. Are they yelling at me for the way I read that?
No, you did great.
Okay.
But if you're
Wait,
not,
excuse me.
I could hear Lisa yelling
Give
from.
her a break. She didn't read it earlier. She doesn't know the story. It's okay. Just stop it. She's okay.
I could hear you. I heard you.
But if you weren't already crazy, wouldn't you be made crazy by being called bipolar?
So I was supposed to do a show with Joseph last night, and I fell asleep. So I'm gonna go ahead and hopefully reschedule for today and have everything go smoothly. I think it'd be a cool way to do it. I'm really excited. He's got some cool information to share with us, and we're gonna go from there. But I have a couple other shows I wanted to show you, tie everything in together. But I think I'm only going to have time to upload this one this morning, and the rest you'll have to wait till after work or whenever you view it. But let me know what you guys think, and I appreciate everything. And let's see if you guys can, your homework is to find some meteors and footage of meteors, and let me know. Send them in a link, anything. All right, thank you.